here we go. I gotta say, I'm getting into that period where I just have all kinds of tabs open all the time. Okay, lots to do, lots to do. Let's see. Good Lord. Oh, the stupid we are going to deal with today, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, everybody. Let them know we're here. They hate me. Oh my God, the volume of stupid that is coming our way, let me tell you. Okay, let's jump straight in. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring the chat room straight in. Sorry, my do is subdued. I had it back in a ponytail because I had a meeting with Rob Glenn, our regular weekly Zoom meeting, where I think we pegged the nerd meter. I really do. I don't know how we will be able to top it, but good God. Also, love you guys. Hi. Hit the like, share the show if you would, subscribe, etc. Venmo or something, whatever I'm supposed to say to make this a professional show. We have a ton of crap to cover today, and I do mean crap. But I do want to remind everybody that I am on Instagram and Facebook and Twitch and YouTube. And that's it. Although we may be starting on Substack soon. So if you're a Substack subscriber person and did I get any sleep? I did not get any sleep. As a matter of fact, I chose to stay awake. So if I'm a little like loopy, 2 o'clock in the morning, silly, it's because I did not take a nap. And the reason I didn't take a nap is because if I conked out, I felt like, you feel like the weight of sleep coming on and you're like, if I give into this, I'm done. Anybody have that? You have that kind of situation where we're just like, if I just keep moving, I'll be awake. And then somewhere along the line, of this evening, like 8 o'clock, I will go to bed and wake up sometime tomorrow afternoon. I know I was supposed to nap, BJ, but I don't feel like it would have helped because today is so goddamn silly that it almost requires that I'm sleep deprived to deal with some of the silliness that we will deal with today. Can I just say, for the record, I, like all of you, I got my struggles in life, both real and imagined. I have, friends who are going through some stuff, and the social and emotional pressure of that circumstance. I got all the regular, what we call provider anxiety. In the sexy liberal circles, when you got a kid and you're just like, I got to be able to make this world okay for him and make sure that he's fed and educated and a good person and has the opportunity to try anything that he genuinely could flourish at, that kind of shit, right? That provider anxiety, that never goes away. And I certainly don't have a million people doing whatever I say and a Diet Coke button on my desk. And if I did, I gotta say, even with all the emotional and social struggles that you can't get rid of because they're just part of being human, I gotta say it would lift the weight quite a bit. That part of it. Yeah? But it doesn't matter for our first guest because, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump will always be miserable. First of all, never, ever underestimate his ability to screw up a free lunch. Donald Trump himself will always lose even when he wins. He will find a way to snatch failure from the jaws of victory. And I have not watched this one. I've watched a bunch of his little chin wags that he's been doing lately. And he talks about infrastructure, TikTok, and immigration. So you know it's going to be genius. And we may have to break it up. I don't know to what extent he actually talks about anything worthwhile. But here we fucking go. And I want to assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that when we are done watching this ridiculousness, this blather from the current president of the United States of America, you and I will be in a better place than he is. For real. He's still going to be a miserable bastard. Lonely, unwanted, surrounded by sycophants and suck-ups that he knows are not his friends. And last night, at the Ultimate Jam Night, we had a great crowd. I don't even want to talk about it with him on the fucking screen. Last night at the Ultimate Jam Night, we had a great crowd for the 10th anniversary show. Adam, our dear Adam, who's battling cancer, was there at the show. He was up and around. He was improving. The cancer was taking his, the chemo meds were taking his hair, but they did not take his spirit, and he was with us, working and helping out and doing his thing. And it was just lovely to see him on his feet. We had, I mean, and there's so many people that were there. And it was lovely to see Ginger and several of our other regulars that come. But there was there's some musicians that play there that I didn't know before I started hosting the Ultimate Jam Night. And some I had known tangentially through other things or other shows or whatever, but became close to in this process. And let me tell you something. When you get to go to a place where you farmed 15 rock solid friendships, good people, nice to hang out with, talented, impressive people who are just lovely to be around. And you know for a fact that Trump has no idea what that's like. I mean, I'm not happy about my friendships because of just schadenfreude, but it's very stark. It really is. Like when I'm standing around with those folks, I'm like, this is awesome. I have become so close to the whiskey, and I want to bring something up. There was a woman named Maureen. Everybody called her Mo. She passed away of a heart attack earlier this week. I believe it was Monday, just right before this. Unexpected, and part of the family that sort of operates, the regulars that operate the whiskey and stuff. And she was one of the people that like the rest of the jam people dealt with more than I did because the offices are behind a wall on show night. So I don't end up interacting with them too much. I'd met her a couple of times, but everybody spoke so lovely of her, and you could tell that the staff was really feeling it and affected by it. And at the end of the show, every single one of the ones that I talked to earlier who were a little bummed out about it or whatever, after the show came up and they were just kind of beaming from just the night of music that we had. It was just lovely. Ended the night singing Living on a Prayer, which was, I think, apropos. I don't know exactly how old she was. She was in her early 50s, I believe. But it was unexpected. So, anyways, here we go. Let's jump right into the friendless old fart I guess I gotta for legal reasons. I gotta throw this up. I'm sorry. There may be a need for a nut warning. I'm sorry if you're sensitive to large, wagging nuts. They can be gross. Again, the Secret Service is so concerned about how much Trump's neck looks like a vagina, they're afraid he will grab it and choke himself to death. They are on constant watch that if he passes by a mirror, he might go, "Oh, there's one," and grab it and be like, I don't know, maybe it's like a snapping turtle. They have to wait for a thunderclap for him to let go. Anyway, so you've been warned.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Some very familiar faces. Well, thank you very much, and it's an honor to be here today.
Yeah, thanks for that tremendous round of applause. It was huge. It's an enormous. I'm still feeling it.
Yeah, we have first full day as president. We're back, and we had a great first term, but we're going to have an even better second term. And
it's going to be even better. What is it? Let me guess. It's going to be half as long.
I think we're going to do things that people would be shocked at.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's your modus operandi. I think shocking is the point. Helpful, useful, productive. Listen to me with my tired singing voice. Productive. Now, shocking is whatever.
Starting off with tremendous investment coming into our country at levels that nobody's really ever seen before.
Who thinks there's been a lot of investment in the United States over the years?
They're very happy with the fact that I won the race and that they feel confident in their investments, and it's big money and high quality people.
Yeah, not this shit money we had before from these losers.
So my first day back from having a nice life, it's my honor to welcome three.
That's the. I mean, I guess he can't let that say. Oh, and by the way, I guess he wants to remind you that he lives a cushy life, and fuck you, poor assholes.
They're the world's leading technology CEOs, and in the case of Larry Ellison, it's well beyond technology. It's sort of CEO of everything.
No, Larry Ellison from Oracle is not CEO of everything. Is Oracle so complicated that to your just way of thinking that you can't understand what the fucker does for a living? What?
He's an amazing man, an amazing business.
Well, by the way, if he's CEO of everything, I think we have a responsibility as customers. Anytime a customer problem comes up, your luggage gets lost. There's your water's brown for some reason, like out of the faucet. Your food is chewy and clearly microwaved at a place. Don't bother the people at Cracker Barrel or Comcast or any of the any Delta. Don't bother them. Call Larry Ellison. He is the CEO of everything, and tell him to fix it.
But to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history.
Really? They didn't have ones like this in the early 1900s and late 1800s when we were during the Industrial Revolution? So AI projects are getting larger, are they? They started small and they're getting bigger? Sorry, this is just dumb.
It's all taking place right here in America. As you know, there's great competition for AI and other things. And
yeah, everybody's competing for AI and other things. There's a huge competition. I can't walk outside with my hamburger phone without a fight breaking out where people try to claim it. There's a huge... everybody knows that there's a huge competition for the greatest live stream in the history of live streams, and I've won it hands down year after year after year. This is of course the Jeff Goldblum Award for the greatest live stream in existence. And then, obviously, as a champion of free speech, I get to. It's like the Stanley Cup of free speech. Is the fart piano. And it's funny because I have never had to give it back because I win every year because the competition is so high for AI and other things like the fart piano. AI and other things. Shit. You can't do a chord. Doesn't work.
They're coming in at the highest level. We're joined by Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison.
Oh, you mean CEO of everything, Larry Ellison? Why you just demoted him?
SoftBank CEO, my friend Masa Yoshi-san, and CEO of OpenAI, and I would say by far the leading expert based on everything I read.
Based on everything you read? What, his business card? Also, is it just me or is this slow as fuck? Is he just ripping the Sleepy Joe mantle and going, nobody's more tired and dull and dry and boring than me?
Sam Altman. So that's great that you're coming in together. That's a massive group of talent and money. Together, these
a massive group of talent and money. Massive. They're just pallets off camera, giant pallets of cash.
world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books.
Put that in your book. Isn't that from Dances with Wolves? Put that in your book. 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 Jesus.
Because I think you're going to hear a lot about it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be like it's making me want to go watch the original movie, not so much the series.
In the future, a new American
Yeah, well, Stargate's not one of those things you hear in the past. I mean, there's a book, I guess. Don't get me started.
company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately.
Almost immediately. 500 billion. They're just going to dump it in a pile and it will be, it's 100,000 people with rakes moving the cash around. They're going to try and stack it to see if it really does reach the moon.
This monumental undertaking is a resounding declaration of confidence in America's potential under a new president. Let me be a new president. I didn't say it, they did.
They? It's your statement, dum-dum. What do you mean they? Sorry, are you reading the Illuminati's directives again?
So I appreciate that, fellas, but it'll ensure the future.
No, you are a new president. You're the new, for this term, you're an old fart, but you're the new president.
Of technology. What we want to do is we want to keep it in this country. China is a competitor and others are competitors. We want it to be in this country, and we're making it available. I'm going to help a lot through emergency declarations because we have an emergency. We have to get this stuff built. So,
sorry, we need emergency AI banks for private industry, and we're going to declare an emergency to spend taxpayer dollars on emergency AI for Larry Ellison, Masa Yoshi-san, and Sam Altman.
They have to produce a lot of electricity, and we'll make it possible for them to get that production done very easily at their own plants if they want.
Yeah, if they want. He's going to attach a coal plant to every one of these. You know, it's kind of like, it's like putting an outhouse on the USS Enterprise. You know what I mean? You got this beautiful space station that represents the spaceship that represents the journey of man into the stars, and you just attach a fucking wood burning stove and a shitter to it. It chugs along right behind it.
Where they'll build at the plant, the AI plant, they'll build
an AI plant. What is it? A fern? the AI plant. What are you making there, Sam? Oh, I'm making some AI. Ding. Just trying to, ding. Man, that making AI, that's some back-breaking work. Ding. At the AI plant. Oh. Rob Glenn, where are you when I need you? Oh, my God.
Energy generation, and that will be incredible.
It will. It totally will.
But it's technology and artificial intelligence, all made in the USA. Beginning immediately, Stargate will be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power.
Wait. Physical infrastructure, I understand. Infrastructure week being a joke during your presidency. What other kind?
Stargate will be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation.
The virtual infrastructure. Oh, bing, a do, bing. Where's your hammer? Don't need one. Bing. Well, who's making the noise? I am. Bing. What are you making? I'm pounding out some virtual girders for the virtual buildings. Bing. I'm a construction worker in the metaverse now. It's the saddest blue-collar job in the world. Bing. I even have to make my own working sound effects. Bing. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Jesus Christ.
Generation of advancements in AI, and this will include the construction of colossal data centers, very, very massive structures.
Yes, colossal would be the word. Massive structures. It's the size of the building that matters, not what's in it.
I was in the real estate business. These buildings, these are big, beautiful buildings. Are going to employ a lot of people.
No, they're not. They're not big, beautiful buildings. They're big, flat, office park-looking pieces of shit. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to take a high-rise in New York or in Chicago or something like that that's basically empty and turn it into a giant server farm, especially in cities that are cold a lot of the time. That wouldn't hurt. You just leave the fucking windows open. But...
And physical campuses in locations currently being scouted nationwide. They're making their choices of locations. I think they have their choice. I'd like to ask Larry, Sam, and Masa to say a few words and just talk about a little bit about what they're doing. And have you?
Because I have no idea what the fuck the words. Yeah.
Have any questions?
Yeah, save your questions for the end because I don't know what I've said already, much less what. Don't ask me questions about what they say. Fuck me.
And then we'll go into a couple of other subjects also. But this is, to me, a very big thing. $500 billion Stargate project. I think it's going to be something that's very special. It'll lead
something very special at a level no one's ever seen before.
To something that could be the biggest of all. So, Larry, maybe we'll start with you and we'll go down the line. Thank you.
Larry's in the middle. Masa would be going down the line, or you could start at Sam's side, but Larry's literally the tall one in the middle. You just know him, and Masa makes you feel uncomfortable because his English is his second language. So you love his money, but you don't like his accent.
Thank you, Mr. President. We certainly couldn't do this without you.
What do you mean? Use taxpayer dollars to fund your private industry stuff?
It would simply be impossible.
Yeah, normally businesses have to fend for themselves. Remember that shit about picking winners and losers? Anyways, you were saying, Larry?
AI holds incredible promise for all of us, for every American. We've actually been working with OpenAI for a while.
Obviously, the Amish and the Pennsylvania Dutch. They're not, I'm just saying, they're not in on it. I'm just going to say, what's left of the Branch Davidians, probably not too big on it. And there's a big chunk of Trump's evangelical donors who literally think it's the Antichrist.
And with Masa for a while. The data centers are actually under construction. The first of them are under construction in Texas. Each building.
You mean the ones that have already started being built under the Biden administration? What'd they do? Larry, You want everybody to believe they broke ground yesterday? You think, what were they doing? Just waiting till Trump was sworn in? Of course they're being built. They were funded by the CHIPS and Science Act.
Buildings 500,000 square feet. There are 10 buildings currently being built, but that will expand to 20.
Yes, and they're gorgeous. They all basically look like giant insurance companies' headquarters fucked an elementary school.
And other locations beyond the Abilene location, which is our first location. The kind of applications that we're building.
Hold on. Now we got it. All right. Look, we're going to have to deal with this motherfucker, and I'm hitting it head on. Okay. What is it? Oracle, Abilene. Please don't take my man. Facility, AI. I don't know. OpenAI teams have SoftBank and Oracle and 500 billion Musk. Okay, this is. Hold on. Oops. Abilene announces largest infrastructure investment in Abilene, Texas. Shocking. Abilene announced for Abilene, Texas. President unveiled large infrastructure. When the announcement came, Lancium would come to Abilene. Lancium is the company. Fuck. I don't even want to read it because it's so fucking dumb. It's just like, I mean, it's so dumb. It's so, hang in there. More details. Abilene announced for largest AI infrastructure project with 500 billion plus investment. Okay, it's not all going to Abilene, dummy, but whatever. Abilene. Please don't take my man. All right. President Donald Trump has unveiled the largest AI infrastructure project in history with the first site located right here in Abilene, Texas. This project aligns with Lancium, a clean energy computing company that began construction of its clean energy data center in 2022. A what? What is it? A clean energy? You mean clean energy? You don't say. I wonder if that was probably a bill passed during the first Trump administration. A clean energy investment in 2022. That's clearly left over from Trumpistan. Okay, when the announcement was made that Lancium would come to Abilene, it was initially pitched as a leader in green, low-cost infrastructure designed to power the future with renewable energy. While Lancium was initially focused on its data processing campus for Bitcoin mining, so they were using like waivers they got from the federal government to build data centers under the Biden administration to build this place already, and they were going to Bitcoin mine with it, and now the floor fell out from under that. Now it's boosting up a little while under Trump, then it's going to go away again. And so they're moving over, switching it to AI. The company shifted direction in July 2023, partnering with fellow clean compute company Crusoe to develop a data processing campus that can support multiple clients. In 2024, it was announced that the data center will host multiple clients from various tech sectors, with the first focusing on artificial intelligence. Right? Okay. At the White House press conference, Trump introduced Stargate, an ambitious, la-di-da. It's ambitious, folks. Don't be afraid. Ambition. It's not a bad word. Ambition's not a four-letter word. Yeah. That will invest at least I love that, at least a staggering $500 billion in AI infrastructure, a move Trump claims will quickly generate over 100,000 jobs. I don't know why. Why? Who are AI companies hiring? Why would AI data centers hire that many fucking people for real? I don't know. Maybe he thinks there's somebody's got to operate the AI lathe. What you making there, buddy? I'm making a large language model with a focus on gravitational fields. We're going to deliver up there to San Antonio. They got this Stargazer thing, and I'm gonna take this AI over there and we're gonna chuck it on the pile with the rest of it. Hey, pick up those AI shavings. We'll use them for AI kindling. Jesus Christ. Joining with the conference with the biggest names in tech. Really? Executive chairman of Oracle. Not okay. Masayoshi Son, CEO of SoftBank, and Sam Altman. Altman would be up there, and Oracle's a big company, but simmer the fuck down. Together, these industry titans are proud to announce the launch of Stargate, Trump said. Write that down, put that down, Stargate. It's a great movie. I like Kurt Russell. I don't like anybody else in it because they're all liberals.
To give you an idea, maybe the most charismatic and the one that I think touches us all is electronic health records, not just maintaining electronic health records, but by looking at electronic health records
and sharing them digitally. Please go ahead.
Understanding the condition of doctors, better understanding the condition of their patients, and being able to provide healthcare plans that are much better than they otherwise would be.
Right. Why would they not be as good previously? Because I don't know. You're talking about some like shit kicker doctor in the middle of nowhere, like in Abilene, Texas, and he can send the X-rays via AI to Yale or some shit.
A doctor in Indian River Reservation.
Sure.
Would be able to see how a doctor at Memorial Sloan Kettering would treat the patient, or a doctor at Stanford would treat the patient. We actually provide all of that information, all of that guidance to the doctors.
What about a doctor in Wyoming? You're sexy. Your face looks really tight. Were you in a hurry?
Who are treating cancer patients or patients with any other kind of disease, made possible by AI.
Obviously not COVID, but
I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm going to pass it to Masa, but this is a very exciting program for Oracle to be a part of. Thank you.
How is Oracle going to be a part of it? Also, I would like to praise Trump, take an opportunity for hanging around with the power gays again, not being afraid. Say, hey, their money is as green as anybody else's and not worrying about it at all. Look, he's not going to get there. He's not going to get there, by cajoling or force. He's just going to find himself like at the Blue Oyster in the middle of the night.
Thank
you. Put the...
Okay. That's good. That's great. I feel tall now.
Look at Trump. It's very good. That guy did a good job. He is very good. Oh, that's okay. It's good. That guy does that thing very well. It's like you can tell he just has no idea what any of this means.
Thank you. Well, Mr. President, last month I came to celebrate your winning and promised that we will invest $100 billion. And you told me, oh, Masa, go for 200. Yeah. Now I came back with 500. Because this is as you said yesterday, this is the beginning of golden age of America. This is one great example, I think, right? We wouldn't have decided to do this.
I think so.
This is the beginning of golden age. We wouldn't have decided unless you...
We wouldn't have decided unless you, Donald Trump. The Stargate project, a joint venture created by OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle, and MGX, plans to invest up to US $500 billion in AI infrastructure in the United States by 2029. It has been planned since 2022 and was formally announced January 21st, 2025. It has been planned since 2022. That's why they broke ground before Trump even took office. It has been planned since 2022.
We won. And yesterday we agreed, we signed to make this happen. Because of this day. So we would make this happen. We would immediately start deploying $100 billion with a goal of making $500 billion within next 4 years, within your term. Right? Because of your success.
Because we kiss your ass. For the record, let's see, Sam Altman, $7 trillion? This is from February of last year. So this whole project, these kind of things, he's trying to gather $7 trillion across multiple projects for this new AI chip thing that they want to do. $7 trillion. And so far they're at 125 billion a year over the next few years in an industry that's going to be worth 15 trillion in about 5 years. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman wants to overhaul the global semiconductor industry with trillions of dollars in investment. Altman has said AI chip limitations hinder OpenAI's growth, and the project would increase chip building capacity globally. He is in talks with investors, including the UAE. Per the journal, Sam Altman could need to raise between $5 trillion and $7 trillion for the endeavor, the journal reported, citing one source. $7 trillion. They need $7 trillion, and so far $100 billion. Awesome.
So we are very, very excited to do this. And our partner is, of course, SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and additionally investing partner with MGX.
Yeah, MGX. I remember. Yeah, I remember MGX. That was the company that they were already building this thing based on a long time ago. Oh, by the way, the real president does not believe this is actually going to work and is pissed that he's being muscled out of the room. Musk clashes with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman over Trump-supported Stargate AI data center project. Latest in a feud between the two tech billionaires. Trump on Tuesday had to talk up a joint venture investing up to $500 billion through a new partnership formed by OpenAI, maker of ChatGPT, alongside Oracle and SoftBank. New entity Stargate is already starting to build out data centers and the electricity generation needed for the further development of fast-evolving AI, which is a clean energy facility. Anyways, that's why. Trump declared a resounding declaration of confidence, but Musk, a close advisor to, who helped bankroll his campaign, now leads a government cost-cutting initiative, and he said, we don't have the money. They don't actually have the money. SoftBank has well under $10 billion secured. I have that on good authority. Womp, womp, womp. I mean, I hate seeing them fight, but I love watching both of them lose at the same time.
On top of that, we have the technology partner NVIDIA, and of course Microsoft has been very, very supportive to Sam and continue to support all our success. This is not just for business. As Larry said, this will help people's life. This will help solving many, many issues, difficult things that otherwise we could not have solved with the power of AI.
No, AI doesn't solve these problems. Human beings using AI as a tool will solve these problems. That's how it works. It's like having a microscope. Without a microscope, we wouldn't have even known these germs existed. See what I mean? Microscopes didn't cure cancer.
I think AGI is coming very, very soon. And then after that, that's not the goal. After that, artificial super intelligence will come to solve the issues that mankind would never ever have thought that we
Yes, so Donald Trump thinks he's very smart. He's a big dum-dum. But soon we will have a software that we can replace him with.
could solve. Well, this is the beginning of our golden age. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fantastic.
Sam.
I don't have too much to add, but I did want to say I'm thrilled we get to do this in the United States of America. I think this will be the most important project of this era, and as Masa said, for AGI to get built here, to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, to create a new industry centered here. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, Mr. President, and I'm thrilled that we get to.
Where are these 100,000s of jobs? For real. They're not at these facilities. So what is he just counting anybody who uses AI to make an app and sells it and starts a business, or uses like anything that adjuncts onto their business that he considers that a job he created using this?
I think it'll be an exciting project. I think we'll be able to do all of the wonderful things that these guys talked about. But the fact that we get to do this in the United States is, I think, wonderful. So thank you very much.
Could you just say one word? I hear so many positive things about
Oh dear. I don't know what he's going to ask, but I'm going to love it.
what it's going to do for medical research and for solving things, cancer and all the different problems. How will AI help us with the fight against the various problems, diseases, etc.?
The fight against the various problems, diseases, etc.
These guys can maybe share more about some of the work they're doing there. I think they'll jointly be some of the leaders about driving progress here. But I believe that as this technology progresses, we will see diseases get cured at an unprecedented rate. We will be amazed at how quickly we're curing this cancer and that one and heart disease, and what this will do for the ability to deliver very high quality healthcare, the costs, but really to cure the diseases at a rapid rate, I think will be among the most important things this technology does.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Can I speak and answer that question, Mr. President?
Oh boy, Larry's going to stand on the.
So we're currently working on. Should I step on this? Okay. All right. No. I'm not that tall. I'm not that tall. I'm not that.
You look even better.
Aren't we're having so much fun? It's like the first step of a ladder.
Thank you, Mr. President. One of the most exciting things we're working on, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine.
Sorry, SoftBank is providing tools to this? I thought they were just the investment partner. Wait.
It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test.
Yes, we can track everyone's genetic material and also make a vaccine for cancer.
You can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again,
As opposed to the funny ones.
cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person.
Congratulations, Larry. Yes, you fucked it up. You had a couple of seconds. All you had to do was come up there and say AI super smart and it's going to cure cancer and shut the fuck up. But you had to associate gene editing and splicing with vaccines. Now you've done it. Now none of these motherfuckers are going to take this vaccine. Oh dear. Nice going, Larry. Way to fuck up the whole day. That just. Not even 10 minutes in.
Design a vaccine for
Boutique vaccines. Untested. Because they're built just for you. What could possibly go wrong? By the way, I'm for this technology and it's perfectly fine. I'm just enjoying the fact that maggots everywhere are like, nuh-uh, you ain't putting that stuff in thing.
for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine.
Oh, he's just trying to wreck the whole thing. Jesus Christ, man. Why don't you just finish with Epstein hung himself and there was a single gunman on the grassy, that killed JFK.
You can make that robotically, again, using AI in about...
Yes, that's right. Elon Musk will deliver it via a chip in your brain. You're saying all the right shit, Larry. You haven't fucked it up. I take it back. When does RFK Jr. run out of another room shirtless and just tackle you to the fucking floor? Hey, SNL, that's my sketch idea. I know you're going to take it, but that's what I would... I would have recreate this, and then have RFK Jr. just lurking.
48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and
after we sequence your genes. Oh,
have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Yeah, and only people in blue states will take this stuff.
Great, thanks. Yeah, just 1 second. We'll finish up. But
these guys are brilliant. And I just want to say, there won't be any vaccines for cancer. What kind of an asshole?
Highly respected guys. I was shocked.
Oh, he's already stiff-arming them. Highly respected. That means it's not my fault if they fuck up. If you guys don't like them, it's not my fault. I didn't vet them. I didn't talk to them. Somebody else told me that people like them. Fuck am I supposed to do about it?
Larry, because I don't even think Larry does this stuff. You did a very good job for a guy that doesn't do it much, right? But he's so respected.
What do you mean he doesn't do it much? He's the CEO of the company.
And the group, and it's really an honor. But for Larry to be here and do this is very unusual because he doesn't do this stuff. He doesn't need it. He does, and you don't need it, do you? Huh? You don't need.
What's your name? The guy? Huh? You don't do this. What? Huh?
It. But I think it's
Sam. I think Sam. I maybe he couldn't remember Massa. At least he knows him better.
an honor to the country. It's a great honor that this group, these are the top people, that they're going to do it, and they're going to do it here.
No, they're not. You could argue that Sam Altman is among the top AI, geniuses, I suppose, because he's actually involved in the coding and the structure of it. But Massa and fucking Larry Ellison, they're rich, sure, but they don't know more about this than fucking half the campus, like almost community college level science professors.
Here, and we're going to make it as easy as it can be. A $500 million Stargate project comes in addition to a separate pledge between $100 and $200 billion from, as we know, from Massa.
No, the second $100 billion he said was going to be over the course of the next 5 years or the next 4 years.
We talked about before. Also, $20 billion from DeMac, which was great. And
DeMac, the what is it? The Saudi dude, or is he from the UAE? He sells condos to Russian oligarchs so they can, places where they shove their wives off off balconies for real. Yeah, I mean, his entire market is selling condos to Russians.
many others that are coming. Some I just say, just announce it. It's easier. But with some, I know them, and they're so highly respected, I'd rather do it this way. Many would like to do it this way, but we're letting the world know what's happening. This is money that normally would have gone to China.
No, it wouldn't. You can't invest in AI in China. The government owns it, dummy.
Or other countries, but in particular.
Yeah, probably Papua New Guinea. Yep.
China in total.
Greenland, fucking Greenland.
Before the end of my first full business day in Washington in the White House, we've already secured nearly $3 trillion of new investments in the United States, and probably that's going to be 6 or 7 by the end of the week. Tremendous amounts of money are coming in for many things other than even AI. AI seems to be very hot.
Yeah, it's super hot. It's, you know what it is, right? I don't even have to tell you about
It
it.
seems to be the thing that a lot of smart people are looking at very strongly. And
Yes, they're looking at it very strongly. They're going, ugh, ow. What are you doing? I'm looking at AI very strongly. Ugh, too strongly.
country will be prospering like never before. I think that's true, and it's going to be the golden age of America. As I say, yesterday we had the most ambitious, action-oriented day of any administration in history. No, There's never been a first day like yesterday, as you know.
Yeah, in terms of like racism and total disregard for people who are, facing headwinds all around them.
Signed a sweeping slate of executive orders to stop the invasion of our borders. I launched a government-wide effort to defeat inflation and bring down the cost of daily life and bring down the cost of energy.
Well, then it must be done. Hey, guys, I don't know what you guys are asking for. He signed it. Eggs are cheaper. And if the store says that's the price, fuck them. Trump signed an order. They're half whatever they're marked as. And if they won't sell them to you, take twice as many and walk out with half.
Magnificently bring it down. And when energy comes down, Larry, I'd say generally speaking, when energy comes down, everything else comes down. The prices of food and the prices of everything else come down. Energy is that's the big baby. And
it is the big baby. Energy is the big baby. You know how I know? Because I heard it from the big baby himself.
We declared a national energy emergency to drill, baby, drill, our term that we use. We're going to drill, baby, drill like never before. We ended destructive DEI mandates across the federal government and returned our country to a merit-based system and a common sense system. As you know, the Supreme Court gave us
He said all this shit yesterday when he was
decision on merit, where things in this country can be based on merit now instead of
I think he's talking about the Harvard affirmative action shit.
a lot of different rules, regulations, and things that really put our country at a big disadvantage. We permanently stopped government censorship and restored free speech. That was signed yesterday.
Yeah, I signed a bunch of executive orders. First on the list was bringing things to a halt that weren't actually happening. I signed an executive order that stopped Bigfoot from playing shit frisbee in my yard, and as soon as I signed it, he was gone. I stopped the rapture in its tracks. We were going to have a rapture next week. Signed an executive order, no rapture. Don't worry about it. It might be in the future, but not while I'm president. It would have even the rapture never would have occurred.
Renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Sounds so beautiful, the Gulf of America, and returned the name of a great president, William McKinley, to
North America or Central America?
to Mount McKinley. They took off the name, and he was actually a great president. He was a very, very successful businessman. He ran for governor of Ohio. He won and did a great job as governor, ran for president, and he won. He was assassinated, ultimately, in his second term.
So it didn't. In the second term, he was assassinated. You don't say.
Unfortunately, but he was the tariff king, and I don't think he was as bad as I am. I think I believe in him even more than him, but he believed in him very strongly, and he raised massive amounts of money. Our country was at
Yeah, we didn't have an income tax or a functioning structure like we do now then.
its richest. From 1870 to 1913, we had the most. That was when we were the richest, relatively speaking. We were the
Relatively?
richest during that period of time. That was
No, we were not.
tariffs from other countries.
No, we weren't. We had robber barons and poverty.
And our administrations
But he might be right. He might be. He might. I'm sorry. I'm assuming that when he says we were richest, that he meant Americans. What he really means is people like him who own big buildings and large, media organizations and shit like that, like oligarchs or robber barons. Yes, the robber barons were doing way better then.
moving with unprecedented urgency and speed to confront every single crisis facing us, and we'll get the job done. And again, I want to thank Sam and Masa and Larry for being here. It's an honor to have them. And we'll take a few questions if you want.
Oh, dear. Ask him about AI. Ask him what a large language model is and how different it is from machine learning. And also, when he projects we will reach AGI or ASI. Please, someone ask him. Why can't I be there to ask?
About some of the executive orders, you would agree that it's never acceptable to assault a police officer,
Sure.
right? So then if I can, among those you pardoned, DJ Rodriguez, he drove a stun gun into the neck of a DC police officer who was abducted by the mob that day. He later confessed on video to the FBI and pleaded guilty for his crimes. Why does he deserve a pardon?
Well, I don't know. Was it a pardon? Because we're looking at commutes and we're looking at pardons. Okay, well, we'll take a look at everything. But I can say this.
What do you mean take a look at everything? You already pardoned him.
Murderers today are not even charged.
Bullshit. So, sorry, real quick. Let me get this straight. So, because you think murderers are not charged with murder, which they of course are, but because you believe that, you think the answer is to release people who assault police officers. That's how you even the score.
You have murderers that aren't charged.
Well, maybe put them in jail then, and don't let out people who attacked police officers.
All over. You take a look at what's gone on in Philadelphia, take a look at what's gone on in LA, where people murder people and they don't get charged. These
Well, how do you know it was murder then?
people have already served years in prison, and they've served them viciously. It's a disgusting prison.
Viciously?
It's been horrible. It's inhumane. It's been a terrible, terrible thing.
It's the DC jail.
I also say this. You go to Portland, where they did,
Yeah, what's left of it. Hashtag Rip Portland.
where they wrapped police officers, shot police officers. Nothing happened to anybody.
So you think it's only fair then not to go there. Sorry, I'm gonna open this up a little wider. You think it's instead of going to Portland, I guess, and doing an FBI investigation and finding people who allegedly did these things, it's better to just release other people who did it.
You go to Seattle, where they took over a big chunk of the city and people died. Portland, a lot of people died. Wait a minute. And you go also, take a look at Minneapolis, because I was there and I watched it. And if I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city wouldn't even exist today.
Gibberish.
People were killed and nobody went to jail. So
Right. And so you're saying that you think they didn't go to jail because Biden let them out or didn't charge them. And so to get your revenge on that situation, because those people attacked police officers and police stations, you're going to release your people who attacked police officers and police stations, and we'll just call it even?
these people have already served a long period of time, and I made a decision to give a pardon. Joe Biden gave a pardon yesterday to a lot of criminals. These are criminals that he gave a pardon to. And you should be asking that question. Why did he give a pardon to all of these people that committed crimes? Why did he give a pardon to the J6 Unselect Committee when they burned and destroyed all documents?
They didn't. You can go find them. They're online. Also, if they burned and destroyed all documents, how do you know those documents even exist? How can you prove, if they're gone, how can you prove they ever existed besides the digital copies that are available online?
Which showed that they did what was wrong, not me. Wait a minute. Why did they give a pardon to all of his relatives, his brother who made millions of dollars, to all these different.
Because you'll try to throw him in jail and torment him. Now we'll cover that. It was preemptive to protect him from a vindictive asshole taking over the presidency. That's not the question. The question is, why would you release people who beat the shit out of police officers when you allegedly are the law and order cop suck-up party?
Different people. He gave pardons. That's the question you should be answering. All right, go ahead. Yeah, please.
If I can just follow up about your Steve, can I just follow up with that really fast?
No.
I just want to ask
Go
you
ahead.
this. You said
Tell
you
us,
will.
tell us about your meeting with Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune. Did you reach any conclusion on this one big?
Pretty much. I think
bill?
we have a good situation now. It's been in some ways made simpler by Los Angeles because they're going to need a lot of money. And generally speaking, I think you'll find that a lot of Democrats are going to be asking for help.
Oh, I see. So what they're going to do is put the aid for California in there, and that will be enough for Democrats to just vote for whatever the fuck. And you'll just shove stuff through, because if you don't, we're going to screw the people who lost their houses, because that's what you do. You leverage people's lives to get what you want.
So I think maybe that makes it more one-sided. I think we're going to do very well. Look,
More one-sided? You mean everybody wants it passed?
we're going to take care of Los Angeles. I'm going there. I'm going to North Carolina.
Or maybe you're not. I mean, I think the idea is that if you make them, if you're forcing a vote based on it, I guess you technically have to walk away from the table. The deal has to be variable, or why would we think you're helping in any way? If you're going to help, then they don't have to sign off on this bill at all. You'll do it some other way.
Carolina, which has been abandoned by the Democrats. And I'm going to North Carolina, very importantly, first. I'll be there on Friday. And then I'm going from there to Los Angeles. And then I'm going to Nevada. And I'm really going to Nevada to thank them for the vote, because we won.
Oh, dear.
Won Nevada overwhelmingly, and that's usually a Democrat vote. And I just want to go there to thank the people of Nevada for the big vote. So we'll be making.
And how are you going to thank them? Oh, by making sure the unions get shut down on behalf of all your friends who own the casinos.
Yeah, please.
The leaders of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers were freed following their pardons yesterday.
Do you expect them to stand back and stand by?
At the time, back in 2021, you urged them to stand back and stand by. Is there now a place for them in the political conversation?
Well, we have to see. They've been given a pardon. I thought their sentences were ridiculous
They've been given a pardon. You pardoned them. You did this.
and excessive. One of the guys took down a flag that was an anti-American flag, and he was given years in jail. I don't know the exact number, but he was given many years in jail. I thought it was very excessive. And
Did he attack someone who was holding a flag at some point? Also, what do you mean an anti-American flag? Does anybody know what he's talking about? Fuck me. Hold on. Let's see. Proud Boys or Oath Keepers? Man sentenced for attacking anti-American flag, Jan 6, something like that. Man who got let's see. David Dempsey is one of the most violent rioters. Maybe he's talking about this guy. Jan 6 defendant who beat officer with flagpole during California riot, sentenced to over 4 years in prison. He got pardoned. Peter Francis Stager. Let's see, is there a picture of this? I think there is somewhere in there. 620 of these people pleaded guilty, by the way.
at least the cases that we looked at, these were people that actually love our country, so we thought a pardon would be appropriate, yeah.
Mr. President, is it also true in your conversations with Republicans today that you asked them to consider recess appointments for cabinet officials?
I think, yeah, if it's needed. I don't think it's going to be needed. Marco, as you know, got passed overwhelmingly with 99-0, which is pretty amazing. Marco's going to do a great job, Secretary of State. but he just got, I guess he was the first one and just got approved. That's some vote, 99-0, and the
Yeah, most of the time that's how they go. Unless you put some asshole like Kegseth.
nothing was a vote that he would have gotten if we wanted to do it. But you know whose vote that was? Who's doing a great job right now as vice president?
You also talk about some sort of a trade or a deal involving wildfire relief in extension for.
Wait a minute, sorry. J.D. Vance would have been the 100th vote?
Or a debt.
Well, what I really want to have done, I was talking about this with the guys back
Oh, was it you think it was a BLM flag? It probably was, you're right.
in the Oval Office. Los Angeles has massive amounts of water available to it. All they have to do is turn the valve, and that's the valve coming back from and down from the Pacific Northwest, where millions of gallons of water a week and a day, even in many cases, pours into California, goes all through California down to Los Angeles, and they turned it off. It's off now. The valve goes, it turns toward the Pacific Ocean, and all that water goes pouring into the Pacific Ocean.
All right. What valve is he talking about? Hold on. Fuck me. This is more of this smelt shit. Putting people over fish. Fire takes in its overhaul Delta water deliveries to farm and cities. Ways in the California water use fight. Truth behind Trump's restoration declaration. This is 1995. Hold on. Gavin Newsom said Donald Trump made up the water restoration declaration, a pact that the president-elect alleges California governor refused to sign. 2 new wildfires erupted, blah, 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 major wildfires. Fire crews are racing to contain them. Emergency triggered claims. Da, 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 da. Yeah, he's looking great. Trump said in a social media post the water restoration declaration had led to the ultimate price being paid. Refused to sign the water restoration declaration, but put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow melt from the north to flow daily into parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning. He wanted to protect the the water restoration declaration. That's so funny. Doesn't exist. Contrary to Trump's claims, a water restoration declaration doesn't exist, and there are no water shortages hindering firefighting efforts. Water mitigation and restoration, that's in Vegas. Water damage restoration, the truth behind Trump's water restoration declaration. That's where we were before. Gavin Newsom, right, wanted to protect the essentially worthless fish called smelt by giving it less water. It didn't work. Newsom's office said the declaration doesn't exist. Newsweek, why wouldn't you just say it doesn't? Like, don't just take his word for it or act like it's a matter of fucking opinion. It doesn't exist.
If they did what I told them to do, they wouldn't do it because politically they didn't think it was good. I think it's great politically. I think they're dead politically. What they've done, they've destroyed the city. What they've done to that city is unbelievable. The sprinklers, their sprinklers in there like these right here that you see, none of them had any water in them. They didn't have any
bullshit.
Water. The fire hydrants, 40% of them had no water. The brush was just dry. Everything was dry. The sprinklers on the lawn weren't allowed to even be used. So, everything was dry, and it was an inferno. They created an inferno. So we're demanding that they turn the valve back toward Los Angeles right now. It's not even believable that they haven't done it.
Right. The valve. Where is it? Here's a good idea. Fuck you. It must be on federal lands. March out there and throw it, you weirdo. Right? Why wouldn't you just fly to the valve? Go get thee to the valve.
They have a valve.
Do they? They've got it. Really? Can we look it up on a map somewhere? Can I see this valve? It must be fucking-enormous.
And it turns like, think of a sink, but multiply it times many thousands of times the size of it.
1,000 sinks.
It's massive. Mm-hmm. And you turn it back toward Los Angeles. Why aren't they doing it?
So there's a setting on the valve, like, and just goes right, fuck me.
Either have a death wish, they're stupid, or there's something else going on that we don't understand. But
I go for the third one, but not in the way you think.
we want the water that they're throwing away to be used for California. And that includes the farmers of California. You know, when you drive up north, you see all of the land. I couldn't believe it. I was with Devin Nunes when he was a congressman and some other.
Yeah, this is Stockton shit. There are all these signs like, give us water. And they don't want to be flooded with water, asshole. They want water use. If there's a valve that opens up and stores this water someplace, it would just drown Stockton, you weirdo.
A congressman from the area, and we're driving up and we're on the highway, and I keep looking at these farms, and the land is bone dry, and then you'd see an acre, about an acre or 2 acres, with the most beautiful green plants growing in it, the most beautiful you've ever. It's a rich stuff, and you look at the soil, and it's so rich. That soil is almost the equivalent to like Iowa soil. It's phenomenal. It's got no water. But the reason it has no water, I said, do you have a drought? No. I said,
Yes.
what do you mean you don't have a drought? Look at the thing. It's dry as a bone. The reason you have like an acre is because they say you can farm 1 acre, but no more, because they didn't want to waste water. But they throw the water into the Pacific Ocean. These people are crazy. So we're going to be issuing an executive order demanding that they immediately let that water come down through California. Farmers, even people living in Beverly Hills. Now, those people have been a lot of them are wiped out. Believe it or not, you know, they were having restrictions, Larry, you know about this. They wanted
Larry, you have a house in Beverly Hills.
to restrict you to 38 gallons of water a day. That sounds like a lot, but it's not. When you're a rich person and you like to take a shower.
Just think about that for a second. Fucking hell. When you're, because poor people don't like to shower.
38 gallons doesn't last very long. And they have all this water, and it's really good water. Up high, Pacific Northwest, some comes in from Canada. A nice country, by the way, comes in from Canada, and it comes all the way through California, and they're restricting it. You even have the half pipes, the half pipes, the cut pipes, big ones, bigger than this room. And
the big cut pipe, sure.
Going all the way down, and they're bone dry, and they could be loaded up with water. But isn't it incredible that they don't do it? And it's to protect the Delta smelt. It's a fish that's doing poorly anyway. But I said, how are you protecting the Delta smelt by not giving it water? It's a fish. It needs water. Nobody can answer that question.
President Trump, TikTok, Mr. President.
Well, let me do this first.
Are you open to Elon on TikTok?
Say it.
Are you open to Elon?
And by the way, it would also harm salmon fishing in the Pacific Northwest. But he doesn't want to bring up salmon because people understand the farming of salmon. They don't give a shit about smelt. They think about those like sardines.
TikTok?
I would be if he wanted to buy it, yeah.
On your inauguration.
I'd like Larry to buy it too. I have the right to make a deal. So the deal I'm thinking about, Larry, let's negotiate in front of the media. The deal, I think, is this. And I've met with owners of TikTok, the big owners. It's worthless.
The Chinese?
If it doesn't get a permit. It's not like, oh, you can take the U.S. The whole thing is worthless. With a permit, it's worth like $1 trillion. So what I'm thinking about saying to somebody is buy it and give half to the United States of America.
What the fuck? Buy it and give half to the United States of America. So wait, the taxpayer is on the fucking hook for TikTok? What kind of commie horse shit is this?
Half, and we'll give you the permit. And they'll have a great partner, the United States.
Sorry, how do you separate government and social media if we half own the motherfucker?
and they'll have something that's actually more valuable because they have the ultimate partner, and the United States will make it very worthwhile for them in terms of.
What are we going to do? Attack Facebook and bring them down in the name of U.S. TikTok?
The permits and everything else. But so think of it, you have an asset that has no value or has $1 trillion value.
Or other software companies could take its place and have $1 trillion value.
It all depends on whether or not the United States gives the permit. So what I'm saying is let the United States give the permit, and the United States should get half. Sounds reasonable. What do you think?
Sounds like a good deal to me, Mr. President.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. It's gibberish. It means nothing. What do you mean half? We're not going to pay for it. Somebody else buys it and they have to give it to us because you arranged the sale of it. Is that because the Supreme Court forced the sale and you put a pause on it? The U.S. taxpayer gets 50% of this person's investment, and they're going to be okay with that. And then what happens? What happens when TikTok gets sued? Seriously, can you think of deeper pockets than the federal government?
He can
After the next Tide Pod bullshit?
afford it, too.
Mr. President, you're a president who has long said that you back the blue, but aren't you sending the message that assaulting officers is okay with these pardons?
No, the opposite. In fact,
The opposite. These weren't real cops.
I'm going to be letting 2 officers from Washington Police, D.C. I believe they're from D.C., but I just approved it. They were arrested, put in jail for 5 years because they went after an illegal, and I guess something happened where something went wrong, and they arrested the 2 officers and put them in jail for going after.
Something happened. Just something happens. They went after an illegal, and something happened. Something just happened. Two D.C. officers, Terrence D. Sutton Jr. and Andrew Zabowski, were found guilty in connection with the death of Karen Hilton Brown. Sutton was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison, while Zabowski received a 4-year sentence. They were, let's see. Trump pardons police officers convicted in D.C. man's death. Karen Hilton Brown was riding a motorbike without a helmet as Officer Terrence Sutton pursued him in an unmarked car in Northwest D.C. The chase went on for 10 blocks before Sutton, followed by Hilton Brown, down an alley at what prosecutors called unreasonable speed before Hilton Brown left the alley and was hit by a car. After the collision, Sutton and Lieutenant Andrew Zabowski conspired to cover up what actually happened. Sutton was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 5.5 years. Zabowski was convicted of conspiracy and obstruction of justice and given 4 years. Both remain free. I'm going to be letting 2 officers from the Washington, D.C. police. I believe they are from D.C., but I just approved it. That's what he's saying. They were arrested, put in jail for 5 years because they went after an illegal, and I guess something happened where something went wrong, and they arrested the 2 officers and put them in jail for going after a criminal, a rough criminal, by the way, and I'm actually releasing it. Before the officers were pardoned Wednesday, Hilton Brown's mother released a statement saying that in part, per President Trump's inauguration speech, he spoke of fairness. The pardoning of Sutton and Zabowski isn't fairness. I have and am requesting President Trump review this case before judgment. As a mother, I'm asking you not to pardon the murderers of my baby, Karen Hilton. President Trump, as mother of a baby whom I love, I'm requesting to speak with you privately. Please don't pardon Sutton and Zabowski. Do we know if the dude was this Karen Hilton Brown idea? It doesn't sound like an illegal from his name. Not that we can always tell, but Trump pardons D.C. officer convicted of death of Karen Hilton Brown. Yeah, that's him. Yes. Former Brown mother furious over former D.C. Police officer gets 5 years for deadly killing. Suspended Washington, D.C. police found guilty. Trump says he'll pardon him, and he did. I don't see anything about him being illegal, though. Hold on. Karen Hilton Brown, U.S. citizen? or was he born in Haiti or something? And that's where they're Trump pardons 2 decision. Spanish countries, former GCPT guilty of death of 20-year-old. Oh shit. Okay, who is? I'm on to Karen Brown. There's that's him with the baby. That's his mom, I guess. That's him with the baby. Justice for Karen Hilton. Working Families Party. Stop killing us. Amalia Jones Bay. Hilton Brown daughter. Yeah, I mean, dude's a U.S. citizen, it seems.
A criminal, a rough criminal, by the way, and I'm actually releasing. No, I am the friend of police, more than any president that's ever been in this office.
Thank you, President.
More than
President Trump.
400 of the people that you pardoned, though, assaulted officers. So I want to ask you about the Vice President, J.D. Vance. He said, this is a week ago, he said, if you committed violence on January 6th, obviously you should not be pardoned. Why is your Vice President wrong?
Well, only for one reason. They've served years in jail. They should not have served, and they've served years in jail, and murderers don't even go to jail in this country. And
It's so fucking weird. Like, that's the excuse. Like, it's such a weird false equivalency. It's so, I mean, it's a lie and whatever. It's just fucking stupid. But the fact that, like, are any cops okay with this? Are maggots okay with this?
we had 1,500. We have 16 under review. As you know, we commuted about 16 of them because it looks like they could have done things that were not acceptable for a full pardon. But these people have served years of jail, and their lives have been ruined. And in many cases, listen to me for a second. Stop interrupting. They served years in jail, and if you look at the American public is tired of it. Take a look at the election. Just look at the numbers on the election. We won this election in a landslide because the American public is tired of people like you that are just one-sided, horrible people in terms of crime. You don't talk about all the people that have been killed and what happens to those murderers. Murderers get no time. You take a look at some of these DAs. They go after political opponents, but they don't go after people that shoot people in the street.
Again, why is the answer releasing people who attacked cops?
They're caught. They know where they're living. They know everything. They don't even go up to pick them up.
By the way, Karen Hilton Brown was born in Maryland in 2000. He was 20 years old, and he died in D.C. And he's buried at Lincoln Memorial Cemetery.
Anymore. They just let them live there. They know all about it. They have their pictures. They have the tape of the shooting, and they don't even go up and you're talking about this. No, we pardoned people that were treated unbelievably poorly in the
Look at that. Unbelievably well.
Pardoned people that were treated unbelievably poorly in the history of our country. There's never been anything take place like this.
What are you talking about, Guantanamo?
They're still looking for them, but they're not looking for the murderers, the people that are killing everybody.
Maybe they were killed too, since everybody got killed.
We are, though, and we're getting them out of the country. We just started that. We're getting them out of the country.
Sorry, so American murderers can walk free. It's just you're only concerned with illegals that kill.
They're going to be gotten out of the country fast. They came in illegally from jails and from prisons. They killed many people. Some of them killed many people. About 50% of them killed more than one person. They were released into our country. That's what we're focused on, not the kind of nonsense you're talking about.
You released people who beat cops. Where's the nonsense?
Called for a ceasefire in Ukraine. If Vladimir Putin doesn't come to the table to negotiate with you, will you put additional sanctions on Russia?
Sounds likely.
And do you think that the war should be frozen currently along
The
with
war
the
should have
battle
never
lines?
started. If you had a competent president, which you didn't, the war wouldn't have happened. The war in Ukraine would have never happened if I were.
Well, then shit, you should be able to shut it right down. It's like your healthcare plan. We have, Obamacare is a disaster. and we're working on a replacement. Well, nothing is better. Just having zero, it would be better than a disaster. Who can't come up with a healthcare plan that's slightly better than a disaster? Same shit.
President. But that couldn't happen because the election was rigged. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, there's been some debate within your orbit over whether or not to keep or eliminate H-1B visas. What's your position on that? Do you want to keep H-1Bs or do you want to get rid of them?
I like both sides of the argument, but I also like very
leadership.
Competent people coming into our country, even if that involves them training and helping other people
before those people lose their jobs
that may not have the qualifications they do. But I don't want to stop. And I'm not just talking about
whoa, what?
Into our country, even if that involves them training and helping other people that may not have the qualifications they do. But
does anybody get that? Is it? I'm lost in the pronouns of it. So are the foreigners coming over here and training Americans to do things that they don't know how to do? Or are they coming over here and they're being trained by Americans to do jobs that they don't have the qualifications to do before they come over, which would be the reason why they would get an H-1B visa?
I don't want to stop. And I'm not just talking about engineers. I'm talking about people at all levels. We want competent people coming into our country. And HB1, I know the program very well. I use.
Yeah, HB1. HB1 is great. Absolutely. H1B, we don't know. It could be something. I've heard about it, but I don't know. HB1's kick ass, though.
The program. Maitre d's, wine, experts.
Yes, we need more wine experts from overseas. How are we going to fill, Mr. President, we cannot have a wine expert gap.
Even waiters, high quality waiters.
Yeah, not these dipshits from America. You need high quality waiters, ones with European accents.
You got to get the best people. Now, then you go into
what the fuck?
People like Larry, and he needs engineers, and Massa needs, and this gentleman needs engineers like nobody's ever needed engineers, right? So we.
He needs engineers like nobody's ever needed engineers.
Have to have the quality people coming in. Now, by doing that, we're expanding businesses, and that takes care of everybody.
Yeah, especially the people who are displaced and are qualified for these jobs but don't get them because people with H-1B visas, if they can't move to another job, and if they try to quit, they'll be kicked out of the country, so you can overwork them and underpay them, and basically it's like white-collar slave labor because they're forced to stick to a job that brought them there, even if it becomes untenable and dangerous or stupid.
So I'm sort of on both sides of the argument.
Great. That's leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Quote Donald Trump, I'm sort of on both sides of the argument.
But what I really do feel is that we have to let really competent people, great people, come into our country, and we do that through the H-1 program.
Mr. President, are you looking to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico in an effort to force negotiations sooner on USMCA?
No, it's really not on USMCA. It has nothing to do with that. They've allowed, both of them, Canada very much so, they've allowed millions and millions of people to come into our country that shouldn't be here. They could have stopped them, and they didn't. And they've killed 300,000 people last year.
Wait, the Canadians? Holy shit. What'd they do? Lager them to death?
Opinion, have been destroyed by drugs.
Look, if you're gonna go to a hockey game and where they don't have glass up, wear a helmet.
Drugs by fentanyl. The fentanyl coming through Canada is massive. The fentanyl coming through Mexico is massive. And people are getting killed and families are being destroyed. I mean, the son gets killed and the family is a basket case for the rest of their lives. I mean,
Yes, the son gets... If they lose a daughter, I mean, what are they good for? Maybe they're a good earner if you live a few blocks from Jeffrey Epstein's house, but you lose the son, man. That's the thing.
Seen mothers that thought they'd heal they never heal. They say it gets worse with time. It gets worse with time. They lose their boy, they lose their baby, they lose their young daughter to fentanyl
Not the old daughters, though. Yeah, eventually you get tired of it.
poisoning. And I had that talk with President Xi the other day, too, of China. I said, we don't want that crap in our country. We got to stop it. I would have stopped it. I had a deal with him where he was going to give the maximum penalty, which in China is the death penalty for drug dealing. And he was all said he was going to give the maximum penalty to fentanyl dealers. If they send to the United States, they were going to get the death penalty.
You mean the military guys that are in charge of coordinating the precursors and getting them to Mexico in the first place?
And of course, Biden didn't pick that up. I had that deal all done. It was all wrapped
Yeah, it was all done.
up. We were going to have it done.
What did you what did you give them in exchange for, like, hey, don't kill, you guys kill your drug dealers and we'll give you what? What was your trading point on that? If it was a deal, obviously it wasn't a one-sided deal, right? You apparently think very highly of Xi Jinping, so clearly there would have had to have been some kind of quid pro quo.
And then the election went, let's put it nicely, didn't go the proper way. I'm trying to be nice about it. It was rigged. And we had
Still bitching.
an incompetent president elected, and he never followed up on that deal. But he should have followed up, because if they got the death penalty, they wouldn't be sending fentanyl to Mexico, Canada, and other places.
How much will the tariffs on China be, Mr. President? How much will the
We're
tariffs
thinking
on
about
China
that, too. We're talking about a tariff of 10% on China based on the fact that they're sending fentanyl to Mexico and Canada.
How soon? How soon on those tariffs?
Probably February 1st is the date we're looking at.
Right. He's going to basically create a spike in trade with China, like, in the next couple of weeks, as everybody, next week and change, next 10 days, leading up to that date. So, because that's one of the reasons why China's seen a spike in exports, is because people are trying to buy this shit that they need from China as far as gear and machinery and shit like that before the February 1st deadline.
For Mexico and China, we're talking about approximately 25%.
Date on the Gaza ceasefire.
Wait, China 10%, but Mexico and Canada. Sorry, China 10%, but Mexico and Canada 25%?
Are you planning to travel to the Middle East soon?
We're thinking about going to the Middle East, not yet. We have a thing called the hostages are coming back going on right now, and they are coming.
A thing called the hostages are going on right now.
Back.
It's a long title. I think it needs some truncating. I think a little pruning.
Some of them have been very damaged. You look at the young lady with her hand practically blown off. You know how that happened, right? Did you know how that happened? When you find out, you're not going to be too happy because it was terrible. But the hostages are starting to come back. If I weren't here, they wouldn't be back ever. They would have never come back. They would have all died. If this were done a year earlier, if Biden would have done this deal a year and a half, 2 years ago, or frankly, it should have never happened. October 7th should have never happened. Nobody should be dead.
Yeah, this the whole horseshit. Hold on one second. Is really hostage girl hand blown off? Tears of joy as the released hostage dive in the mother's arms after 50 months of captivity. Emily Damaris, wounded hand swiftly becomes symbol of Israeli defiance. Ex-captive's mom shares photo showing her daughter's unbandaged hand after she lost 2 fingers in the October 7th attack. This would be her. And her supporters use a rock-on emoji to celebrate her return because she's forever throwing the horns, I guess, is the idea. Clear production. Emily, a dual Israeli-British citizen, was seen waving her bandaged left hand in a phone call to her relatives. The gunman who burst into her home shot her dog. She reportedly told her family and friends in her first conversation with them on Sunday that she was hit too as she tried to comfort her dying pet. And in an Instagram post, the release house wrote that outpouring of love had heartburst of excitement. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm the happiest in the world just to be. Emily's post was signed with the rock on. After the image was published, supporters added bandages to the rock-on emoji, transforming Damari's injury into a symbol of defiance. Most widely circulated version was made by Aviad Merji, an Israeli sneaker artist who posted it on Instagram, along with the words, "A great small victory." That would be... Yeah, hold on. They made it. There you go. So that was one of the designs they did.
But through weakness, they allowed it to happen, and then it was a disaster from them. But you go back just 6 months ago, many of these young people were living. You know, young people don't die like that. They're just dying. And young people aren't dying at 22 and 23 years old. They don't die. But now they're dying.
Sometimes they die.
And you wonder why
I mean, yeah, hostages die, especially when they were injured, when they were taken.
Dying. They're being killed. And they have been killed. But they say 6 months ago you would have had 11
Well,
more.
the dead ones.
More living hostages. Think of that. 6 months ago. But Biden couldn't get it done. And it was only the imposition that I put on as a deadline that got it done. But it's a very sad situation. It should have never happened. I'll tell you, 2 things should have never happened. 3 things. Inflation should have never happened. It would have never happened except for what they did to energy and their crazy spending. And you
Also, no. We had supply shock post-COVID. Inflation was everywhere. Like, again, explain to me how Russia is like Putin is a genius and Russia's doing great when they have 9% inflation currently.
Ukraine would have never happened. Never. By the way, Russia
Gibberish.
never would have gone into Ukraine. I had a very strong understanding with Putin that it would have never, ever happened. He disrespected
Really? What would you have done if he'd done it while you were president?
Biden. Very simple. He disrespects people. He's smart. He understands. He disrespected Biden. And also, the Middle East would have never happened because Iran was broke. They had no money.
Yeah, the whole Middle East. It would have never existed.
They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. It would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. But it did happen. So this is the cards I've been given. And we're getting the hostages back. That would have never happened under Biden. They would have never come back. They were just dying not that slowly. They were dying or being killed.
Biden got a bunch of hostages back too. Like, this is how this shit works.
But that was what
I'm beginning, though, to think that there were powers at play that were like, hang on to them until Trump gets in, make him look like a hero, and then we'll give you some stuff on the backside and let you slip out and go live in Qatar.
was happening.
So are you going to keep sending weapons to Ukraine, or are you going to turn off the tap soon?
Well, we're looking at that. We're talking to Zelensky. We're going to be talking with President Putin very soon. And we'll see how it all happens. We're going to look at it one thing I do feel, the European Union should be paying a lot more than they're paying because under Biden, I mean, we're in there for $200 billion more. Now, it affects them more than it affects us. We have an ocean in between, right? Little thing called an ocean.
But this kind of de minimis language that he uses all the time is so fucking lazy. But his response, like, they have more in this than we do, as if freedom as an idea doesn't mean anything to him.
The European Union should equalize. We're in there for $200 billion more than the European Union. I mean, what are we, stupid? I guess the answer is yes.
Or we're a lot richer. We're the biggest economy in the world.
Because they must think so. But the European Union takes advantage of us tremendously on trade. And they now take advantage of, and always have. If I didn't get involved years ago, in my first term, one of the first things I noticed was that they're not paying enough. They're not paying. And a lot of those countries weren't even paying.
And by the way, this was him trying to undercut NATO.
The NATO countries, they weren't paying. Only 7 out of 28 were paying. We were one of them. And Poland was one. And they had a few of them that were paying, and some were paying very proudly. Usually the closer to the borderline of Russia they were, the faster they paid, okay? The ones that were
Gee, I wonder why. It's almost as if they understood the threat.
further away tended not to pay so fast. And one thing on that, I think they should lift their number not to 2%, but to 5%. NATO should be at 5%. Not at 2%. 2% is ridiculous, yeah.
The U.S. President Xi, in your conversation about Ukraine, you asked him to get involved in
Yeah.
helping settle that. Can you tell us
I
about
did,
that?
yeah. I said, you ought to get it settled because he's not done
I
very
don't want to do it. I don't know what I told him 24 hours and it obviously hasn't happened. You should do it.
much on that. He's got a lot of power, like we have a lot of
Uh-huh. You mean because he supplies arms to Russia?
power. I said, you ought to get it settled. We did discuss it, yeah.
Mr. President, you launched a crypto coin the other day. Do you intend to continue selling products that benefit yourself personally while you're president?
Well, I don't know if it benefited. I don't know where it is. I don't know much about it other than I launched it. I heard it was very successful. I haven't checked it. Where is it today?
You made a lot of money, sir.
How much?
Several $billion, it seems like, in the last several days.
Several billion? That's peanuts for these guys.
So you talked about the letter from President Biden.
Jesus Christ.
Give us some sense, broadly speaking.
Yeah, he wrote me a
about
nice letter. I mean, I did open it last night. And I didn't know. Peter said, did you get the letter? I said, wait a minute, let's see the letter. It's sort of a tradition. You put it in the drawer, especially of the beautiful Resolute desk, right? And I opened it, and there
Yeah, even if it's not in the actual Oval, because there are several desks, and sometimes the Resolute desk is in another building or at the Smithsonian.
was.
Yeah, but no matter where, no matter who the president is and when they leave, they always go and find that desk, even if it's in storage, and put their letter in the drawer. You know where to find it.
It said to number 47. And it was a very nice letter. I mean, I could show it because I think it was a nice letter. Maybe I will. I think just basically it was a little bit of an inspirational type letter, you know. Enjoy it, do a good job. Important, very important, how important the job is. But I may.
I saw the word important. I saw the word job. I saw do it.
Yeah, I think it was a nice letter. I think I should let people see it because it was a positive for him in writing it. I appreciated the letter.
Mr. President, were security concerns at all a factor when deciding to move your inauguration indoors?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
No, I'm not in danger from booze.
It was just cold. Look, if we would have, you know, I just went out to the helicopter, right, we said goodbye. That's a tradition. As long as before it used to be a stagecoach, and then helicopters came along.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a straight jump from stagecoach to helicopter. They just bypassed cars entirely.
But that's been a tradition. You go out and you do that.
Yeah, you go out to the stagecoach, and then one day you walk out to the stagecoach, and there's a fucking Huey sitting there, and you're like, my goodness, what is this contraption? Eleanor, come out and look at this. I was expecting a stagecoach, and there's some sort of Gila-bird situation. Look at the helmet on that fellow.
And we stood there for 10 minutes, and I'll tell you what, people would not have been able to get through that day. That was cold. It was sort of interesting. Don't let the sun fool you.
I won't. Thank you. Yeah.
Tell me something. Sunny days can get very cold, can't they?
Oh my fucking God. Sunny days can get very cold. I look forward to his acoustic album.
Because that was so freezing yesterday.
Yeah, the sun was out. I'm like, why aren't I hot? Maybe I'll get warmer if I look right at the sun. Ouch!
You couldn't have gotten through it. It would have been.
Nah.
And the answer is no, it wasn't security. With that being said, I thought the Capitol, the Rotunda,
was so much warmer.
was beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And so devoid of maggots. Like, I didn't have to look out at this crowd of my supporters and go, ew. What the hell? These are the people that like me? Yuck.
72 degrees, unbelievable sound. You know, it's like being in an opera house.
It is. It's like being in an opera house. It's because it's echoey.
I could see people wanting to do it there rather than outside.
Why did you remove John Bolton's security clearance, sir?
Because I think there was enough time. It's we take a job. You take a job. You want to do a job. We're not going to have security on people for the rest of their lives. Why should we?
Because they might get killed because of they were national security advisor like 6 years ago.
I thought he was a very dumb person, but I used him well because every time people saw me come into a meeting with John Bolton standing behind me, they thought that he'd attack them because he was a warmonger. He's the one that got us involved, along with Cheney and a couple of others, convinced Bush, which was a terrible decision, to blow up the Middle East. You know, we blew up the Middle East and we left.
We did? The whole Middle East? Well, shit. Israel was there. Huh. The whole Middle East. We blew it up and we left? And there's just none of it? What's there now? Is it a whole like Portland?
No, we got nothing out of it except a lot of death. We killed a lot of people, and John Bolton was, one of those guys, a stupid guy. But no, you can't have that for life. You shouldn't expect it for life.
Well, yeah, now, especially if he gets killed now.
That meeting that you mentioned with President Zelensky, will that take place here, and when and where will you meet with?
I don't know. I mean, look, President Zelensky would like to have peace. He's told me that very strongly. He'd like to have peace, but it takes two to tango. We'll see what happens.
When will you meet with President Putin?
Anytime they want, I'll meet. I'd like to see that end. Millions of people are being killed, and they're being killed. It's a vicious situation, and they're now largely soldiers. A lot of people have been killed in the cities. They look like demolition sites. Buildings, massive buildings bombed and coming down.
Yeah, the 5,000-year-old buildings that look like penises, right?
The thing
Old penises.
with Ukraine is that many more people died than you're reporting. You're not reporting the real numbers, and I'm not blaming you for that. I'm blaming maybe our government for not wanting to release those numbers. Many more.
It's not up to us, stupid. We don't release those numbers. They're not our numbers.
People died than what you know about. When those big buildings come down and they say 2 people were injured, no. Many people, thousands of people are being killed. But the real killing now is on the war front.
Right, because if you fire a bullet, there's no such thing as gravity, so the bullet just travels and goes around trees and rocks and through gullies and around playgrounds up until it finds a human being, and then it hits them like Gene Simmons' bullets in Runaway.
It's a very flat land.
Oh my God! And the only thing that stops a bullet is a human body.
And the only thing that stops a bullet is somebody's body.
Fuck me. Or the gravity meets trajectory. Could just kind of fall. What can you imagine what this motherfucker thinks happens during hunting season?
And you have young soldiers. So Russia's lost about 800,000 soldiers now. Ukraine's lost about 600 or 700,000. I think the numbers are low that they're giving out. But they've lost massive numbers of young soldiers. And that will.
Sorry, the smaller country with nowhere near the size military of the country that attacked them has lost fewer people while being attacked than the attacking army has lost. Shame.
War should stop. It's very flat. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very flat. That's the thing about it. It's very, it's the worst kind of battlefield.
Beautiful farmland, and it's flat and
flat and farming.
Really beautiful in a different kind of
in a flat kind of way.
But they don't have any protection.
No, they don't have any protection because it's so fucking flat. It's like if you fire a bullet in Kansas towards, just due west, somebody in Iowa is fucked.
Only thing that stops a bullet is a body.
That is so fucking weird.
And those bodies are stopping a lot of bullets, and they're getting.
All right. Well, so how many per body? Just letting you know, because there's a lot of bullets flying, obviously.
They're being decimated, both sides.
Both sides of the bodies? Well, I guess, so they're not stopping, are they? Is it a through and through?
Your conversation with President Xi, what did you tell him in terms of when to expect tariffs? And what can he do to avoid them?
About which one? About tariffs? We didn't talk too much about tariffs, other than he knows where I stand. Look, I put large tariffs on China. I've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars. Until I was president, China never paid
10 cents.
Not 10 cents to the.
By the way, can I remind everybody again, for those that don't know, Tencent is a Chinese company. what they want is it to be like the U.S. government. It was one of the first targets of like separating it from the government or putting it on a blacklist. Like he doesn't understand that they wanted to break Tencent away from the Chinese government, and the Chinese government wouldn't let it happen because it's a huge moneymaker for them.
The United States. With me, they paid hundreds of $600 billion or so, or more than that even, of tariffs. And if I didn't do that, you wouldn't have a steel mill open in the United States right now. You wouldn't have one steel mill open.
Yeah. Because Obama's steel tariffs didn't work.
In the United States. So what I did is I saved the steel industry. I saved other industries too with other tariffs.
Like what? Yeah, what industry did you save? What was it?
Other countries are big abusers also. You know, it's not just China.
Yeah, China's, I mean, obviously, you know, slave cotton and intellectual property theft, but France, wine, cheese, mustache wax, those fuckers.
China's an abuser, but the European Union is
Right.
very, very bad to us. They treat us very, very badly. They don't take our cars. They don't take our cars at all. They don't take our farm products, essentially. They don't take very much. We have a $350 billion deficit with the European Union.
Yeah, because we buy and repurpose things from there. Just like China, they're a wholesaler for American salespeople.
They treat us very, very badly. So they're going to be in for tariffs. It's the only way you're going to get back. It's the only way you're going to get fairness. You can't get fairness unless you do that. But the European Union's treated us very badly. But essentially, everybody treats us badly.
Yeah, essentially. Boo fuckity who.
You know, everybody treats us badly. Yes, go ahead. Because we allow them to. Because we've had stupid people doing this, and we can't have. I'd like to have these three people negotiate for us, just for 1 week, and we'd be a rich country again. But we'll be rich.
Mr. President, on AI data centers,
Why don't you just ask him to? Wasn't that the whole point of the best people last time?
will you rescind President Biden's executive order that opens up federal land?
On which centers?
On data centers. Will you rescind President Biden's executive order that opens up federal lands for data centers and energy production?
No, I wouldn't do that. That sounds to me like it's something that I would like. I'd like to see federal lands opened up for data centers. I think they're going to be very important. Again, we have a lot of competition for that. So it's an honor to have these three great people, great.
Yeah, the land he's talking about is part of the land that they're building on because it happened under Biden 2 fucking years ago.
CEOs and great geniuses, all three. It's an honor that they want to come to our country, but we're going to make it as easy as we can for them because other countries want them to. I'm going to have to go now. Thank you all very much.
Boring. Now, real quick, can I, since we have to deal with it, shut up. So, there's this, and then, and this.
The presidency.
Sorry. I would like to, if I could, before I go, if you guys aren't disgusted enough, share with you kind of an update. Remember this asshole, Rusty Trombone, the hippie Alex Jones, the wandering wacko from Waco. It's not quite my bedtime. I've got another 3 hours to stay up. God damn it! I'm trying to stay awake. This video is titled, "Let's Talk About This." Now, obviously, you can find out what it's about by looking at the description. Code brand save 10% chip and get your ultimate spike detox from the wellness company. Oh, you mean for spike proteins because of the vaccine? It would be. I'm guessing this is about how hippie Alex Jones has been a rapey piece of shit.
Years, my promiscuity was exploitative. As a famous rich dude, sleeping around, having sex in bathrooms, sleeping with multiple people at once, using the fact that I had massive access to having sex with strangers and was doing it. That's pretty crazy.
I was doing it, yeah? I was fucking doing it, yeah? And I'll do it again.
Easy and excessive, and there's no question that that is sinful, broken behavior that hurts.
Wait, is Schellenberger? What is this? Is this Schellenberger's confessions? This is the asshole who started that whole censorship industrial complex horseshit with Matt Taibbi. I don't know what the fuck this guy's main shtick is besides being relatively anti-vax or something, but I feel like he's like a right-wing. He's a barnacle. He's making money off of being kind of anti-vax adjacent, which is, I mean, that you have to be on Russell's show.
People, and I beg for forgiveness, and I'm given forgiveness, and I beg for salvation. But what happened in this weird...
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you get to skip jail time if you rape somebody, stupid.
...weird liminal spaces, that behavior got metastasized and reformed retrospectively.
Oh, you mean retroactively? Someone took your behavior from back then and turned it worse than it was. And that wouldn't be the women you raped, would it?
Into criminal conduct by competing media companies.
Sorry, the LAPD is a competing media company?
Working with groups like Logically and Crisp, working with legacy media companies, collaborating in an unprecedented way in order to go back to, for years and years, talk to people like, have you got a story about...
Well, unprecedented, that's unfair. Russell, that's unfair. Unprecedented. Hold on, let's see. I think there is a precedent. Let's see. There was a guy that the press went after quite a bit, and it turned out he was a brutal pedophile who'd been victimizing people for decades, and you thought he was wonderful, had him on your show, offered up your personal assistant to give him a massage in the interview. Let's see. Jimmy, okay, no thanks. So Jimmy, this is Russell Brand. I'm sorry to interrupt your meal, but you're not interrupting my meal, Russell, because to talk to a megastar like you is an honor and a pleasure. Well, sir, I could say the very same thing to you, and I shall. Thank you very much for coming into the phone. Where are you speaking from? I'm speaking to you from Hawaii, as a matter of fact. I'm over here making a film for Universal Pictures. Hawaii was on the television tonight, and you're speaking to me from Hawaii. That's right. But Jimmy, have you been well? I miss you. You're going to start Jim Will Fix It again, aren't you? No, it finished last Thursday. I did 40 shows. I'm sitting here with a beautiful lady. I can't believe I'm talking to the one and only, supposedly, Russell Brand. I'm Russell Brand, definitely. Hey, Jimmy, I was a lad, and I did write Jimmy's Fix It. Jim Will Fix It. I wanted to meet Pinocchio. Russell Brand, you're quite right, Jimmy. I remember now. I could ask you now, are you going to be doing any more fixes for anyone? Of course, I shall be doing fixes long after you're dead. I believe that to be true. It would be very nice to meet you one day, Mr. Jimmy Savile. Well, if you got a sister, you could meet me by bringing her along. I mean, I haven't got any sisters. I don't usually meet fellas, but if you got a sister, that's okay. I've got a personal assistant called, they took her name out, and part of her job description is that anyone I demand she greets, meets, massages, she has to do it. She's very attractive, Jimmy. That's a good start. You could stand her. Stand her along to do some research. Would you like her to wear anything in particular? I'd actually prefer to wear nothing. Right. So you want my assistant to meet you naked? Okay. Well, that's not going to be a problem. Nothing wrong with that. The last time I spoke like this was with Father Christmas. Yeah, I've never trusted those Father Christmas in Debenhams or there's other stores that are available. I don't trust the Father Christmas you get these days, Jimmy. I've always thought of you as a Father Christmas figure. Solving problems. That was Jimmy Savile. Now. Jimmy Savile, for those of you who don't know, abused, let's see, hundreds of people, sexually abused hundreds of people throughout his life, mostly children, but some as old as 75 and mostly female. Had been known for his eccentric work, blah, blah, blah. It was announced the inquiries had widened to other hospitals because he started volunteering at hospitals They reported allegations covering a period of 50 years, including 214 alleged acts by Savile, which, though uncorroborated, have been formally recorded as crimes, some involving children as young as 8. The report states within the recorded crimes are 126 indecent acts and 34 rape penetration offenses. He defended him afterwards. So, and the news, once they found out about Jimmy Savile, they all kind of dug into it and they started researching it. And they started trying to figure out, oh my God, who maybe protected this guy? How far did it go? That would be the precedent. Rusty?
Russell Brand. What about that? Well, other people have bravely come forward. What if we shift that? What if we shift this a little bit? What if we tweak that? Now it goes from, instead of being a heel and a fool and greedy, and, you know, and in some aspects of the code, a playboy, a womanizer, a gadabout, a player. You know, it was so...
Right. I was just a player. Now, I was playing with women as if they were playthings and against their will, but, you know, still, I mean, basically, there's no difference between me and somebody who just is great with the women.
Suddenly, it was reformed into...
By the way, he looks completely calm and not at all defensive.
This guy's not like all those other famous womanizers that we know are out there.
Oh, yeah. It's like the Trump defense. Murderers get away with it, so why am I being picked on?
Sometimes have to put out injunctions, that sometimes have to pay lawyers a lot of money to keep stories.
Oh, you mean like Trump?
Quite no, you're in this different category here, all of a sudden, of the most appalling criminals known. All the while in my country now, there's this explosion that there are actual grooming gangs that are raping and abusing little girls and young women at an almost institutional and inconceivable level. And it appears that the media and government have repressed and ignored those stories for reasons that I find difficult to understand, but they're sort of a loose way of describing it is multiculturalism. Now,
right. So he's innocent. Hippie Alex Jones is innocent because there are Muslim grooming gangs in England, and people look the other way because they didn't know how to deal with the fact that they were perceived as racist and all this other stuff to try and look into these stories. And now they're finding out about it. And as they charge these people, the people around it, as they find out about it themselves, are going, "Oh my God, how long did this go on?" Now, we all agree there are cartels in the world, yes? Drug cartels. And then there are people who inject, like give heroin to heroin users. They sell it on a personal level. They're not a cartel member. They may not even be that linked. They buy from a guy who buys from a guy who buys from a guy, and they've got their main supplier, but they're not recognized by the cartel as a member. And then there are guys who run a fucking dope house and keep, you know, some of the people there doped up on purpose to basically sell out their bodies or what have you. Like that kind of person. Now, that person is a terrible human being. And the cartels also exist. So grooming gangs actually exist. And this motherfucker thinks he should get a pass because...
In that, Michael Schellenberger, how is it that I, as an individual, say, hey, listen, it was wrong that I was a womanizer like that. I don't think I'm in a discrete category away from lots of other womanizers, so
yeah, you can. You're more in the Danny Masterson crowd.
Oh, you're going to get to their investigation sometime down the line. I've got a list of names of other people you might want to look at for woman.
Oh, do you?
Not that I'm a
sorry, what?
Telltale.
Not that you're a telltale. You mean a tattletale? Also, why the fuck not? I got it. Can I just say, point of order, chat room? If I had a list of guys I hung out with that I knew had sexually assaulted women, and I don't know how I would make this list out of nothing. But what if I just found out that 8 or 10 people, you know, I knew for a fact they were involved in these things? Not that I'd heard on the grapevine, but whatever. And I'd written this fucking thing down. You think I would hold it up and go, I've got a list of fucking people who, you know, who are sexually assaulting people. I'm not going to tell you who it is. That's almost fucking worse than what he's accused of. Except it isn't, because he did it. Allegedly. You don't get points for protecting other sexual assaulters. All you're telling us is that if you could have ended up on the ranch with Ashton Kutcher for an acting gig, you'd have kept your fucking mouth shut about Danny Masterson. how is that okay? How is this? And by the way, he knows it isn't. Look at this motherfucker. Look at, like, every freeze frame looks like he's about to weep. Like, this is, if you showed these pictures to an interrogator, they would go, this fucker's guilty. He's showing you 4 whites everywhere. Defensive, angry, prickish. Oh, and by the way, at the end of his show, he's selling fucking ivermectin kind of pills. Anyways, nobody needs to see all that shit. But I do want to show you this. Because I don't know what this is. Just one last thing I'll share with you, and then I'll let you go. The presidency is president-proof. Anonymous. This is Greg Kelly talks about the magic of Trump's inauguration day. And he took a bus all the way from the garage in San Diego where he does his show.
He is president-proof. An old swamp saying. Bureaucrats told themselves and others that they were really driving the show. And when President...
Did they? Apparently they were comfortable saying who they were. Now, real quick, how am I supposed to know this isn't just a made-up anti-bureaucracy? Because if I don't know who said it, how the fuck am I supposed to... Why would I believe, if I may, that they actually said it? It's like that Reagan thing about I'm from the government and I'm here to help you being the scariest words you could possibly say. First of all, that it isn't, but also that phrase in and of itself, it doesn't get uttered that way, just randomly.
When Trump first showed up in 2017, they were scared and they got
I think the word was disgusted.
Very busy trying to sabotage that administration. They tried every single day. Even still, there were amazing successes from Trump term 1, even though he was surrounded by swamp dwellers recommended by, well, other members of the swamp.
And approved by him.
General Mattis, General Milley, General Kelly, and the rest, all of those guys. I mean, it really is amazing what he was able to accomplish the first time around.
Yeah, like what? The infrastructure. No, fuck. No, cutting insulin prices. No, fuck. What was it? Blocking China's access to military-grade chips. And no, that's not it.
But even more amazing, what he learned every step of the way. He hosted.
He learned that he makes more money from dragging the Secret Service to his golf courses than he would as president.
That show called The Apprentice. Well, in a way, this was the ultimate apprenticeship. One of the
Sorry, so he was the apprentice to the deep state?
Reasons why he had to go with people like Milley and Mattis and the rest. He didn't know anybody. He was not political. Now he's ultra political in the best possible way.
Yeah, the best possible way. He's still got Stephen Miller with him, and I guess he's keeping Steve Bannon out, though, so it's 50-50 on the Steves.
And he is so amazingly equipped to do this job.
Yeah, so amazingly equipped to do this. Right as AI is just starting to punch through, we finally have somebody in the Oval Office who's orange. I mean, who understands.
Folks, this is what leadership looks like.
Oh, you mean that? Oh, this is where he's going. I'm kind of on both sides of the H-1B visa, or sorry, he called it the HB-1 visa.
Did you see Capital One Arena and last night at the Oval Office? A man with the plan. He is not playing. He is not playing. And if you go to the White House website, which has been newly updated, this is what you'll find. America is back. I've never seen a government website quite like this.
Yeah, it's douchey. It looks like he's selling timeshares.
And it's not just all kinds of cool features.
Yeah, they're cool features, all the features you'd look for and more.
It has the policies that will define
Here they come.
this administration.
Oh, you mean Project 2025?
And they are available to everybody. They're not hard to find on the website. Putting America first in international environmental agreements. How about that one?
That's awesome. What's in it? You mean getting out of the Paris Accord, the same thing he did last time?
Declaring a national energy emergency.
Emergency.
It goes on like this.
It does. It does. And every time the word emergency is put in there, it's spelled that way with 2 M's and an extra G. Emergency.
Application of Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applicants Act to TikTok, declaring national state of...
Which, by the way, allows TikTok to stick around. It sounds like it's named the exact opposite.
Of emergency at the southern border of the United States, realigning the United States refugee admissions program. It goes on and on and on like...
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, we know. These are bills he can't get passed because they're nonsense. They're executive orders. We know. These are just priority statements.
This, and it's fantastic. It's just what he campaigned on. This is another thing that throws a kind of a wrench in the system. A president actually doing what he told the people he would do and did.
Well, again, I'm waiting for him to broom 1.4 million undocumented immigrants out of Texas. It is a welcoming state that has said, go ahead, get rid of these fuckers, and then sealing the border. Remember, he was going to close the border, not just protect the border, not just send more people down. The border is fucking closed, and that doesn't mean trucks get through. Nobody gets through. It's closed.
Doing it with gusto. Now, a couple of things, just
gusto, yeah.
Little observations about yesterday, if you don't mind.
I do, but go ahead.
When he first emerged from Blair House, that's like that little townhouse across the street from the White House. Well, in 2017, you could see him. This time around, and I'm totally okay with this, they had a special awning like that just shrouded the whole thing.
Oh, because they want you to see them wheeling him out like Admiral Pike.
Security was incredibly tight, and it has to be. It has to be.
Are you sure that wasn't like an inflatable slide?
Going forward, right? And
yeah, going forward, you'll never see him again.
He can't breathe easy for a long time, maybe ever, while he's.
Well, who knew we'd hear a ray of hope from Greg? Yes, according to Greg Kelly, Donald Trump will not breathe easy the entire term, if ever again.
President. All right, things started at that St. John's Chapel right across the street from the White House. I noticed something when he showed up. Were you watching early in the morning? Take a look. One more time, take a good look at the pastor, a guy named Fisher. I don't think he says, "Welcome to the church."
What? Well, he can't. I mean, Trump's the Antichrist, so I think there's rules, right?
I don't think he wanted to welcome him to the church.
Well, I mean, I think it's, I think it might be the whole, like, once a vampire steps past your threshold situation. Excuse me.
Pastor Fisher and some of the other people who have worked at that church. Well,
Pastor Mustard, Pastor Mayo.
Well, this is what the church did back in 2020. Talk about a church trying to make a political statement, putting BLM on the front.
Do justice, love kindness, walk humbly with your God. What kind of bullshit is this?
They were traumatized, I hear, by President Trump holding that Bible.
Upside down.
I still can't understand why people find this offensive, some people.
Because he brought it as a prop.
A president of the United States in front of a church that has been saved by law enforcement, holding the most powerful book in the world up high for everybody to see. I don't have a problem with that. All right, next up.
Well, anything but reading it.
After the church and the possibly politically woke pastor, to the White House.
D.C. didn't welcome Trump with open arms, but that's okay. It's because there was nobody along the parade route either. Like, the maggots didn't even stay for that part. It wasn't that kind of cold. He does that. He's also, if you'll notice, everywhere he goes, he steps out and goes, plants himself and goes, well, here we are with the thing. And then he starts moving. It's muscle memory from doing The Apprentice.
And it looks like a relatively pleasant moment. But a little while later, it looked like they were both kind of tired of each other. President Trump.
Well, in Biden's defense, he may be getting old, but his olfactory senses still work. And anybody standing next to Trump knows it's no fun.
Trump offered appropriately a scathing rebuke of the Biden administration. And nobody deserves it more than Joe Biden. I have absolutely no problem with it. Official Washington was like, oh, that was so in breaking with decorum. Actually, it's not. You can go back and look at Obama's speech. He trashed George W. Bush. George W. Bush trashed Clinton. But
no, he didn't.
This one had the added value and benefit of substance. Okay.
Also, by the way, can you at least play the fucking parts where Obama trashed Bush and Bush trashed Clinton? What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, the White House cabinet. Pretty soon they'll all be confirmed, right? And it's going to look something like
not all of them.
This. You're seated around that table, most powerful people in the world. But on Inauguration Day, before they're confirmed, you got to get on the bus. It's kind of interesting. You got the Secretary of State, you got all these incoming secretaries, and they got to ride the bus. That's how it works. Another little thing I saw.
Wow. So you felt a kinship with them, Greg. Good Lord. Again, I don't know where the fuck this asshole is going. But I think we can take one thing away from it tonight. I know I went long, but I'm trying to keep myself awake so that I can sleep normally because I pulled a Wanted Dead or Alive last night. I drive all night just to get back home, 'cause I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride. So, well, I'm in a truck actually, but still made it. And I'm trying to keep myself up until I can go to sleep at a normal hour tonight and then kind of reset my body clock before I drive back tomorrow night again. Although I will say I'm staying in LA closer to NAMM so that I don't have to wear myself out and do both shows that day. And then I'm only singing 2 songs, so I don't have to worry too much about vocal rest. I'm doing Them Bones by Alice in Chains and Bring Me to Life by Evanescence, and with Rachel Lauren. She's singing the girl part and I'm singing the dude part. And thanks for the Wanteds. I love when I'm like, some wanted, and then you can see everybody goes, types these. Wanted, dead or alive. So I'll be doing that, but I will, I'll have a little more wiggle room than driving in the same day and driving back to do the show. After the NAMM show, I will be driving back that night to do radio from here. And so I'll be a little bit tired, but I'll be all right. And since I don't have to host, I can leave right after my last song. So I'll be fine. So I end up getting in at like 1 o'clock in the morning, which is, I mean, I got in at whatever, 6:30 this morning. So yeah, the whole man for Poltergeist. Yeah, so we're doing Bring Me to Life. I've done it once before. Boston Brian Raid, he's starting up soon. Okay, that's a great time. Let me do that real quick, and I will see you guys come tomorrow. Let's see, Twitch. There he is. Look at this. I hear his music starting. Come on now. I'll go to the creator dashboard and I'll make that happen. And then I will see you guys tomorrow at the regular time. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. I don't have time to do the kidney this time around. So hold on one second. Then go to Boston Brian. There he is. Yep, he's got 5 people waiting in there. We're going to send the rest of you guys over for a raid. Okay, knock. Hold on, go back. Sorry, real quick. Where'd it go? Boston. Damn it. There we go. Now, raid. There we go. I think we did it. He's getting ready to get started. Send everybody over there. There we go. There's Boss Brian. Okay, and I'll let him go in there, if I may. And it should have given me the whole friggin' thingy thing. Raid. There he is. Hold on. Nope. Because he's officially live now. So give me 1 second. Son of a. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's because, yeah, he's already done it. Okay, good. Okay, start raid. There we go. Now we'll start it. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, everybody over there. Hang in there. Everybody send him some love. Give him a hype train, if you would, if you're on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, don't forget to subscribe. Boink. Most of the people are already over there, so boink.
And freaking tastic. I know that.
So, everybody send my love to Boston Brian, too. Tell him, just give him a big hug for me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I've got to go try and stay awake for the next 2 hours.